Let's talk about the self-weaving comb today. In particular, let's talk about the Vellen comb. The Vellen comb is a smart comb, and what it does is it actually weaves your hair for you. Something that we have to get used to as hairdressers, something that we train for years and years and years to get really good at is weaving highlights, weaving chunky highlights, weaving fine highlights, weaving baby lights, weaving normal sized highlights. It is something that takes a lot of practice to get really good at, to get even at, to get quick at. This is supposed to change all of that. It's supposed to do it for you. So all of that training, you don't even really need it because you just pop it in, and every single time, because there's a system to the teeth here, you get a perfect weave. But the biggest selling point with the Vellen comb for me is that it claims to actually cut your highlighting time way down as a stylist. So it claims to actually be able to cut your service time down by 1.5 hours because you don't have to weave anymore. You just get through the hair really quick with perfectly even weaves. Now, if you're not a hairdresser, you still wanna watch this video because you can buy this comb as a consumer. And so basically what that means is that you can get salon quality, perfect weaved highlights on your own without needing the experience level and the talent that a hairdresser has to give you. It just seems a little too good to be true, right? And as a hairdresser, I'm not gonna lie, when I saw this, I was judgy AF. I was like, are you kidding me? This is why hairdressers, we work for years to perfect these methods. But it's kind of a smart idea, and if it works and if it gets service times way down, that's amazing. And if it also helps people do their hair at home in a way that looks more beautiful, then that's amazing too. So today we're gonna try it out. Today I'm gonna try it out for the first time on my own hair. I've actually tried this on a few clients now. I'll let you know what I think about that at the end of the video, but I'm gonna try it out on my own hair to see if I can touch up my balayage, if I can give myself a beautiful end result with a lot less work than weaving. Let's try it out right now. This is what my hair looks like in the before. As you can see, my balayage has grown way out. The base of the balayage is very one-dimensional since my lowlights have faded, and the tone of the blonde is just very brassy. So what's my goal here? I don't want my hair to be very light. It's way too much maintenance for me, and my hair melts too easily with lighteners, so we're just gonna keep it gentle. What I want is a multi-dimensional brown and dark blonde balayage with dark pieces framing my face and lighter baby light pieces dancing throughout it. I also want the baby lights to have a darker shadow root for lower maintenance touch-ups. For that end goal, I'm going to use a 6N in a demi-permanent to low light and a 20 volume mixed with lightener for my lift. The first thing I'm going to do is section out my front panels and do that first. At the very front, I'm going to paint out that entire slice with my darker color to frame my face dark. Most people like lightness around their face, but I actually prefer that panel to be dark. If you want it light, just use lightener instead. Directly behind that, I'm going to slice a subsection out, then cut that subsection in half and use my Vellen comb to weave it for the highlighted section. The way that we do that is we insert the comb at the root, push the hair down, and then use our fingers to collect the hair that has been weaved at the top. Insert a foil, paint your lightener, and we're off to the races. Just notice how I don't paint on top of anything that's been pre-lightened already. I don't want anything lighter than I already have, so there's no point in causing any more damage to my hair. Now directly behind that baby light, I'm going to take another thin slice and apply a low light. I'm just going to move up the head in horizontal subsections, alternating between panels of light and panels of dark. I do the exact same pattern on both sides, and then because my developer is only 20 vol, I let it process for 45 minutes. When that's all done, after I wash it, I'm just going to paint a shadow root of 5N, which is just a nice, rich, dark, neutral brown, just to soften out that root and make sure that it grows out nicer. I'm going to tone the entire thing with a level 8 beige ash, which is just going to make it look like a very dark blonde, and it's going to cool down the brassiness that always happens when you're lifting dark hair.
All in all, end up with a really nice dark rich root that blends down into a dark blonde balayage with lots of dimension of mid-tone brown through the middle. What do you guys think? Do you like how it turned out?
Okay, let's talk about pros and cons here. So a pro is that the weave is completely consistent every single time. Obviously, you have a tool that is doing the work for you. There is no human error. So the weave is totally consistent, which can lead to a really nice end result. Now, with that said, that's also a con. When I worked with this tool on my actual client, I found that I was really limited in my professional creativity because I obviously couldn't change the weave when I was working with this comb. So what you end up paying with when you're working with a fantastic stylist, you know, when you pay the big bucks to go see your senior level stylist, is their experience and their ability to adapt in situations with your hair. So oftentimes when I'm weaving at the front of my hair, if my client has extremely fine hair, I'm gonna do a tiny little baby light. If I'm in the back and I see a lot of darkness and they want to be lighter, I'm gonna go in with some heavier weaving. Now, sometimes my weave will even change on one individual piece of hair. So if I have a hair that's quite light at the bottom here, but there's a lot of darkness here from my previous weave, I'll chunk out the first end of the weave and then I'll go into baby lights to break up the other end without overlapping too much on the light hair. So all of these things are variants that as hairdressers we are able to do. So what you end up getting is a really cookie cutter type of end result, which may be something that you would get with a more junior stylist, someone that was still practicing working with their tail comb, someone that was still working on weaving. You know, they're trying to stay really consistent. You might end up getting more of a cookie cutter look, which isn't a bad thing. It's not gonna look bad, but as a stylist, if you're gonna buy this, you really do lose your control. If you're okay with that, then it is a good option in the sense that you get really consistent results all around. Now, if you're not a stylist and you're doing your own hair at home, then I totally suggest this because it is way easier to do your hair. It's just easier. I found it a lot easier to do my own hair. I do my own hair all the time. I found it really did save me time. It's saved me a ton of frustration. When I'm working on the front panels, I almost can't really even see my hair. So when I'm weaving out of like, I pray and weave. Whereas with this, I like push down. I don't even have to look, and the weave, and I slice, the weave is absolutely perfect. So that is a definite pro when working on your hair at home. It really is a good way to get a nice end result. Now here is another con. When I was working on this with my client, not on myself, but on my client, I actually found that it slowed me down. It really slowed me down to the point where I actually did half her head, and then I was like, forget this, tossed it, grabbed my normal comb and started weaving to make up for the time. Now that could be a learning curve. It could be because I'm not used to it, whereas I've been doing hair for well over 10 years, weaving every single day for multiple hours a day, so I'm so unbelievably fast at it that a new tool was slowing me down. That's not to say that it wouldn't speed me up once I got through that learning curve. But another problem is that I ordered the baby lights one, and I didn't do that intentionally. I just looked on the Facebook ad and I ordered the one that was advertised there. Now, I don't do a ton of baby lights. I typically do more of a normal style highlight. So if I could go back in time, I'd get the highlighting one. Because I don't have the highlighting one, I can't compare it and see if it would actually make me faster. I still think there would be a learning curve. So if you are gonna get this as a stylist because you wanna speed up your highlights, what I almost suggest is doing an entire mannequin head with like conditioner as your pretend lightener so that you can get used to, you know, moving your hand instead of going right on a client. Because when you go right on a client, when you have like lightener time, you know, like you gotta be fast, so the lightener processes evenly throughout the entire client's head, you can lose time with your learning curve and then end up with an uneven result or a less desirable result, and then you'll really hate the comb. That's how I felt when I first used it for the first time. But now that I use it on myself, I really think it is because this one's a baby lights comb, and because there is a learning curve that I just didn't get enough. I should have practiced on a mannequin head before doing it on a client. All in all, would I buy this to use on myself? Absolutely. If you're gonna do your own hair at home and you do your own highlights at home often, This really is it's a handy little tool. It's kind of gimmicky, but it does totally work. Would I get it, would I get all the sizes to do on my clients? No, I wouldn't, because I'm so particular with my clientele. I have a lot of experience with weaving. I really like to vary my weave depending on what area of the head I am, and I just don't feel like I need it. Now, will it speed up your highlights if you're okay doing a very consistent weave throughout your client's entire head? Over time, after you practice, it probably will speed you up. So maybe I'll have to get the normal highlighting one, try it out, and do half a head of weaving and half a head of the Vellen comb, and let you guys know which one is faster after I've given it a little bit more time. If you're interested in that video, drop it in the comment section. I'll definitely look into it for you. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked this video, you may find this one really interesting next. I'll see you in a few days. Bye.